seen it yet, so maybe I'm not on the right place. But it says it's live on. Careful what you say, because you might be sitting like this.
Alright, so they even have a oh, there we are.
There's more of it. Did you use an app or you just went to the internet and went to YouTube?
I went to the YouTube app. The mic's hot, yeah. Yeah, I can hear it. Check, check, check.
Nice, I see it.
Check, check, check.
Yeah, I just hit live, so. There it is. Alright, we're live on YouTube now.
See where Evan Rogers says, hi, I'm Evan Rogers. What are you doing?
What are you looking at? Mine has comments turned on. The chat must be different. You know somebody's walking?
Yes.
I was
Hi,
like,
baby.
yes, awesome.
Yeah,
How you?
this brother here.
Check
so
one,
matter of
check
fact, I'm
two.
gonna get my notepad right now, man.
Yeah, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Now, do you remember him now, darling?
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you ever meet my wife?
I've never.
This is her niece.
I hear him. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Do you hear it out here, though? I guess. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Okay, we're good. Okay. We're good. I just, you should have a push on your phone. You have the CCSD mobile app. Sounds great on that. You just can't really hear it here.
Yeah, because the point is, we moved them up there so we
Makes sense. That makes sense. I trust you guys.
the physics of sound right there.
Right. right, good morning everybody, and welcome to the North Charleston High School Auditorium for our featured speaker and this session of the Family and Community Engagement Expo for Charleston County School District. We want to introduce our featured speaker. His name is Expo Cambone. He's the president of Visionary Leaders Institute, which is a dynamic, versatile, motivational speaker and trainer. Mr. Cambone is nationally recognized as a leader in the fields of educational consulting and designing and conducting leadership seminars for public and private educational institutions. Appointed by an Ohio gubernatorial commission, Mr. Cambone served as executive administrator of the Ohio Commission on African American Males. Mr. Cambone created a school for African American males who were at risk of entering the Ohio penal system. The school received tremendous recognition for its creative approach to reaching and teaching young men who are at risk of falling through the cracks. Philosophically, Mr. Cambone is a great believer in public-private partnerships. He says, quote, "I am a profound believer in self-help. When it comes to community issues, government should be a catalyst and supporter of local initiatives, but must not attempt to apply generic solutions to specific problems and situations." Similarly, Mr. Cambone is a strong advocate for the establishment of policies, programs, and procedures that engage parents in the education of their children. Again, he says, quote, "Parents must be hands-on participants in the educational process, active partners with teachers and administrators. Getting parents involved often requires special effort and carefully devised programmatic approaches. This is especially true in multicultural environments where there may be race, class, and communications issues to overcome." Mr. Cambone and his wife Hanifa, a recently retired teacher in the Columbus Public Schools system and a former school board member, are the parents of 3 daughters and grandparents to the awesome, and in the bio it says awesome, Kareem. Mr. Cambone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to come and to share with you this morning. It's a pleasure for me to see the faces of the people who are here and to those who are watching us via streaming. We thank you for joining us today. Typically, I love to walk around and talk, but I will try my very best to stand still so that those who are watching us via that process will not lose any of the message. Before I get started this morning with what I think and hope to be an excellent word, I want to share with the organizers of this event how grateful I am that you allowed us to come and to be a part of this day. To you, Mr. Muhammad, we congratulate you for putting together this. I have been over in the other building and I'm impressed with the number of organizations who are here sharing their information, sharing their resources with those who have come out. To your immediate boss, Dr. Taylor, we want to say to her, thank you for allowing you to continue to do the things that you're doing. I've been in bureaucracies long enough to know that you can have great ideas, but if the person that you report to does not support your ideas or support you, it just simply stagnates you and then ultimately the vision that you've been given. So to Dr. Taylor in her absence, thank you for being supportive and also for making the vision clear about the need to have an effective parent organization, an effective parent movement, if you will. And you'll hear why I'm saying movement in a minute. With that, let me kind of do a transition here. I know that you worked hard. I know that your people worked hard. To those who are here from FACE, you worked to try to get hundreds of people, thousands of people out. And sometimes it's a little disheartening when you put in all of that energy, all of that effort, and it doesn't give you the return on your investment. And so you feel a little let down that you worked hard and this is the result. Can I share something with you? Don't ever get overly excited about large crowds. And don't ever be down because a crowd is not large. I learned that, if you will, from the master teacher. The master teacher had but 12. And even within that 12, there was some confusion. But the one thing that I know is that those 12 people we are still talking about now, some 2,000 years later. What does that say? It says that if you can just get the right 12, if you can just get the right group together, you can transform this community. So I don't get excited, I don't get depressed either way, I just get busy. And if you get busy, those of you who are here, you can make the difference that you want to make. So don't feel bad about it. Just walk out of here saying, you know what? We still got work to do. And I'm ready to do the work. So look at it. In fact, turn to somebody right now and say, we still got work to do. So my hope is to every parent you hear, know that you are special because all of this was created for you. And to the staff members who are here, hold your head up. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, y'all didn't have 2,000 people there. You just said we had the right people. That's all you got to tell. We had the right people. And if you got the right people, that which you seek will be seen. So now that was my meditation moment. I can now get back to what I need to get back to. Let me share with you why this is so important to me, because the whole issue around parenting is extremely important. If you just kind of look at that screen for a moment and say that the home is really a university. That is all these different things that are happening inside of the home. And the parents are supposed to be the teachers. It is our job as parents, and you heard it was described that we have 3 children, and the bottom line is it's our responsibility to teach. And I know that that's contrary to what so many people think. We think if we just send them off to school, it's somebody else's job to teach. Oh, no. Let me help you. You will not hear me say that it is the school's job only to be a part of that child's instructional life. Now, I know that and I'm not talking about necessarily math and English language. By the way, let me help you. We have now an 8-year-old grandson who my wife and I are trying to help. With all of our education and degrees, I'm going to the class today on new math at home. So I'll see whoever is going to teach that class, I will see you shortly. Because I'm sitting there, and so we're having this conversation with my grandson, and he's saying, he's 8 years old, and he said, Papa, we don't do it like that. I said, how do you do it? He said, we don't do it like that. I said, well, however you do it, it's wrong. He said, how do you know it's wrong? I said, because I know my timetables. He said, well, we don't have to learn our timetables. I said, you do. I said, yeah, really? I said, oh, yeah, you're going to learn your timetables because it will help you do the new math. Now, if your teacher disagrees, we'll tell her, call me. I know that it's challenging for those of us who are parents to now work with some of the things that they are now teaching our children. I understand that, especially now in the virtual world that we now live in. But at the same time, you can trick them up. My little grandson said, I said, what you doing? He said, I ready? I said, oh, yeah. But when I walked in the room, I saw him hit the button. I said, what were you watching before? He said, I was watching another channel of I Ready. I said, I know I look like Bobo the Clown, but I know you weren't watching. You were on YouTube. He said, Papa, how you know that? See, I said, you just told me. So parents, we have wisdom. Y'all with me on this? We may not necessarily have the academics associated with raising our children, but we certainly ought to have some wisdom. So I'm asking you to begin to use that. Now let's kind of roll. Parents, the reason I brought that today to your attention is because the school has its responsibility. We have our responsibility. But the bottom line is that we are in this thing together. That parents have a role to play, that students have a role to play, and that the school has a role to play. We're in this thing together. Hear me. The moment that a child feels that you as a parent are not on the same page with the teacher, you're going to get played. Somebody's going to get played. Now you say, well, what do you mean by that? You know, maybe that vernacular I'm not familiar with, being played. Some folk know what I'm talking about. You're going to get played. What does that mean? It means simply this. When the child knows that you're not on the same page with the teacher, that's when you hear, she don't like me. And you think she doesn't like the child because the child says to you, she don't like me. Here she comes with another one. She don't like boys. She don't like girls. And if you've never met the teacher, which we'll get to in a second, but if you've never met the teacher, never talked to the teacher, then you start to believe that the child is telling you the truth. Why? Because we think, oh, my child would never lie to me. My child just reads the Bible all the time. When I come home from work, he's sitting over on the couch reading Genesis all the way down to Revelation. He knows all the scripture. Yeah, he may know all the scripture, but come up to the school sometime and observe him in the classroom. And there he is up in the lights. Ain't quoted one scripture nor a prayer. So I need you to know that they will try to drive a wedge between you at home and their actions in the school. That simply allows them to get away with stuff. That's all. They're not trying to be demons. They're just trying to get away with stuff. So our job is to make sure that that does not happen. And so we have some things to do at home. So let me start with what I believe that we parents. You got to begin with the end in mind. Do y'all remember when the baby and was so cute? Your child was, that's my little baby. Ooh, you see my little baby? He's old. See, I am a believer that the instruction that we give children begins when they're in the womb. Some parents are trying to wait till they get to high school and have a conversation with them. It's too late then? Almost too late. I don't want to say it's too late, but it's almost. You've been called up to the principal's office because he is misbehaving, she's misbehaving, and you say, well, okay, let me try to teach now. Really? At age 17, that's when you're going to start teaching? So I believe that you got to start the moment that the doctor tells you, the moment that the test tells you that there is a child on the way. I believe that you begin to teach. You begin to instruct. You begin to speak to the child. Here are some things that I expect of you. And while I am on expectations, let me talk about this real quick. Because I believe that parents must do about 10 good things. And I know y'all, I'm looking at y'all, you ain't got no pencil, no paper, no phone out, no nothing. So you ain't planning to remember none of this. You just, we just came over here to sit down and watch you. No, you're going to write something down to make me feel like that you got something out of it. Right? I see two people. I see the principal and I see my wife. Yes, that's right. That teacher's coming out in her. All right, so I want you to write. That's right. Pull that phone out and go to notes. Pull that old school notebook out, that journal. I need to make sure that you get this information. Y'all ready? The first thing that I want you to know is that as parents, we must begin to speak what we expect. We must begin to put it in our children that we have high expectations for them, and they need to hear that at an early age. We love to start talking about, well, I expect something different when they get to middle school and high school. It's late.
The child needs to hear from you at an early. And here's the other part. I know we all love to call our children these little pet names and etc. But I read someplace that the tongue has the power of life and death. So we need to begin to be careful what we speak over our child. We need to be careful what we begin to call our child. So here's what I like. Begin to call your child by a profession that you wish to see him or her obtain. What does that mean? Look at that young man right here. Touch him. Is that your son? This is your son? Touch him and say, what's his first name? Zaire. Dr. Zaire, I'm glad you came today, even though you didn't want to be here. Oh, that's all right. I got that body language about like he's so mad right now he could just, boy, if he could, Zaire would tell you a whole bunch of things right now. But you got to tell Zaire, Dr. Zaire, you're here because I have expectations for you. When your child comes in, and if there are some teachers in here, I need you to begin to call them by the name that you expect. Now, let's be clear. Some of these children may not come out to be what we think they're going to be. Y'all with me? We call them doctors and engineers and architects and nurses. And they may not turn out like that. But you don't know how they're going to turn out. He didn't put you in charge of turning out children. But we can begin to drop it in their spirit that we expect great things from them. So even if you can't think of an occupation that you want to call your child, because now we have to be careful and say, well, you can't call them that because maybe that's a gender biased name, or maybe that's so here's one that I know you can begin to call your child: genius. Every morning, your child needs to hear you say, good morning, genius. When they come home from school, how you doing, genius? How was your day? In other words, your child needs to know that you believe in him, you believe in her, and that you are a genius. And all I need you to know is to just grab hold of that and believe in it, and you'll begin to see it manifest. But you got to start by calling them that. Make sure that they know that they have something, because I believe in every child there's a gift. Sometimes there are more gifts. And it's our job to help bring and nurture those gifts. Y'all with me? All right. Here's number 2. Establish weekly or daily, what's that third word, that word on that first line? Chores. Chores. Every child needs to have chores. Every child needs to have daily or weekly chores in your house. Why? Because chores teach responsibility. And if they learn how to clean up their room, then they will take that same attitude when they come into the school. And it's our responsibility to teach them responsibility, and one of the best ways you can do that is chores. Now, you see up there that says there's no such thing as a girl chore and a boy's chore. I'm going to say that again. There's no such thing as a girl's chore. If your son likes to eat, he needs to know how to cook. If he wants to wash or eat out of a clean plate, he needs to know how to wash some dishes. If he likes his clothes to be nice and clean, he needs to know how to wash. Is this making sense to anybody? Everything that you would teach your child who's a girl, you need to make sure that your boy learns the same thing. There's nothing worse than have a boy sit up in a so-called man sit up in a house, in a dirty house. Because I'm waiting on my mama to come over here and dust. You waiting on your mama to come and dust. You better learn how to dust. Get the dishes over there piled up every day he got to go out and buy new forks. That child needs to know responsibility. Now let me you got to get this. Now I might run a little late, so don't bother me. Here's the most important part. It's the child's job to half do the chore. Did y'all get that? It's the child's job to half do the chore. Why? The reason is they want to make you so mad that you say, just get on out. Get I don't care. Just get out. I'll do it myself. I'll just do it myself. I'll do it. Like he's mad now. Because he said you'll do it yourself. Here's what you do. Just sit there and wait. He's supposed to wash the dishes. Just sit there and say, well, no, okay. You know you got to wash dishes, right? Okay, well, you ain't going nowhere till the dishes are clean. And you just sit there. That's all you got to do, just sit there. Just get you a good song going. Yeah. Yeah. And then he said, well, I'm going to walk out. No, you don't want to walk past me. That ain't a bright idea. I'm trying to tell you, somebody's going to have to call 911 on one of us. You're going to finish what you are supposed to do. I'll get to 911 in a few minutes. Because sometimes the children got us afraid to say no. We basically kind of going along with it. So you need to say, no, you're going to do this. You need to take the trash out. Got the whole house smelling up. Won't take the trash out. And they need to learn this at an early age, at Head Start age, taking the trash out. That's right, I said 18 months they ought to be pulling the pamper. It's their pamper anyway, stinking up the whole house. And they might not be able to get it into the trash can, but they can get it right close to the trash can, and then you finish it and put it on over in there. In other words, I'm hoping, parents, that we will begin to see the value of responsibility via chores. So here's my point. Now, one last point on chores. Whenever I go to the schools, I ask the children, how many of you have chores? Everybody raise their hand. I said, well, how many of you do your chores? So here's my point, parents. It's not enough just to give the chore. You got to make sure that the chores are done. Y'all with me? Now, let me help some of my mothers right here real quick. I got to help you. You think that if they don't do the chores or don't do whatever it is, that you're just going to start screaming. I told you to do the dishes. I told you to take the trash. I told you. You're going to give yourself a heart attack. You don't do all that screaming. Let me help you. Stop screaming. Screaming is not doing anything but killing you. That's why you got high blood pressure. You don't have to scream. You say, well, what do I do? Let me help you with that. Thank you. Glad you asked. Wait until about 2:30 in the morning. Oh, I know I'm right. Wait till about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Just come in and say, baby, you got to get up. He's like, what? Come on now, come on. You got to get up. You didn't do the dishes. Come on. And I want you to hurry up and get up out of that bed before I get in that bed with you, because you didn't do the dishes. So come on. I guarantee you get them up 2 times. 2 times at 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, just 2 times. You ain't screaming. You ain't falling out on the floor. You ain't calling 911, none of that. Just 2 times, get him up. From that point on, he'll start looking for you before he go to bed. Mama, anything I need to do, look around. Anything I need to do before I go to bed. I just need to know, before I go to bed, do I need to do something? He said, no, baby, it's all right, go to bed. You just got to, this is wisdom. Stop trying to kill yourself. Because I know some parents, you know, in certain cultures, we whip, we spank, we whatever y'all want to call it, beat, or I don't know what y'all call it. I'm just saying, I'm not, you know, my wife would tell you, no, I'm not opposed to, you know, handling my business when I had to handle it. But that's not the best and the most effective way of instruction. It isn't. So what are the things? So I'm just saying you got to come up with some other stuff. You ain't got to try to out-whip nobody, you know, just because all you're doing, and especially with boys. I'm saying this again. How you going to whip him? And he just holding his arm out there like this. And you just hitting his arm. He said, you finished? Yeah. Yeah. And then what you going to do? You're like, whew, whew. I'm going to get you again tomorrow. And I got to sit down right now. You're killing yourself. So we've got to use wisdom. Y'all with me? Now, the third one I got to bring to your attention is one that I hope that you buy in on. We got to turn the television off, turn media off. At least one day a week. At least one day. Now, I like to say 2 days a week. But then, you know, the parents would probably kill me. But now, by the way, when I say turn it off, I'm talking about everybody. Did y'all hear me? Everybody. Everybody turn it off. Now, I don't care what day you choose, but everybody ought to choose the same day. Choose the same day. So on that day, in our household, there is no media. We're going to do a couple different things here. But the bottom line is we're not watching YouTube. We're not going to tweet. We're not going Facebook. None of that on this day. You'll get a book and read. I'm reminded what my grandson showed me the other day. He said, read? Like I said a bad word or something. He's like, read? And so I told him we were working on his homework assignment. And he said, well, Pop, I need to, I don't know what that word means. I said, well, what should you do? He said, I should look it up, shouldn't I? I said, that's exactly what you should do, look it up. And so he went to the, turned around, he was at my desk, he spun the chair around, and he started typing on my computer. He said, Pop, you got to turn it on. I said, no, I don't have to turn it on. You got to read. He said, read? No, Papa, if you turn it on, it will read it for you. And I said, no, you're going to read this. And he said, he looked at me like, I don't believe you. Because the problem, I give this to you for free. The number one reason why our children fail standardized tests, listen to me, why they fail standardized tests is they are absent the vocabulary to understand the questions or even to regurgitate their thoughts. Y'all got me on this? They don't know how to write.
No, they don't.
You tell a child, well, okay, write a paragraph on this, and they write three words. It was good. And you said, baby, I said write a paragraph. They look at you like, that's it? I said, well, elongate it. I mean, I need you to write more of a paragraph. They write, it was very good. And I'm sitting there saying, what is wrong with you? That to them is really giving their best effort because they don't understand. And we've got to put words in front of them. So here's what I need you to understand. I don't know if I put this up there because when Brother Muhammad asked me to come, I said, man, I could talk for all day. He said, you got 45 minutes. I said, well, what am I supposed to do with 45 minutes? It'd take me that long just to get started. So I'm running through this. But I need you to understand the vocabulary is very important. So let me try to deal with it. I said to you, one day a week, there should not be any media in the house. So you said, well, what are we supposed to do? Let that be one day where you as a family sit down and have a meeting. He said, well, what are we going to meet about? Parents, this is the most important part for me. That's a time for you to listen. That is not a time for you to give instructions. That is not a time for you to talk. That is a time for you to listen. Now you say, well, my child's not going to say anything to him. Just sit there. We're going to be here. We're going to be, I don't know how long your meeting's going to be. Ours was an hour. Don't care. We're going to sit right here for an hour and just look at each other, and you ain't going nowhere. Now, here's the killer on this. Everybody who lives in that household needs to be at the meeting. Everybody who lives in the house needs to be at the meeting. Or, let me add that little caveat to it. Everybody who frequents the house. Everybody who frequents the house often. Y'all don't need to go any further on that, do I? Okay. If they frequent the house, they need to be at the meeting. You tell them now, listen, ain't nothing happening if you ain't at the meeting. They're just straight up, ain't nothing happening if you miss the meeting. Let me tell you what I know. Old dude come in, yeah. What time the meeting start? He go, oh no, they're gonna come to the meeting. So what am I saying? That's give you the opportunity to hear what's on the minds of your children. You need to know what they're thinking about, what's happening on the bus. You need to know what's happening as they walk to school. You need to know what's happening in the classroom. You need all of those things you need to hear. And now let me hear you. Let me get this out here. When you hear certain things, don't trip. Hush. Because that's why they don't tell you nothing. Because you start tripping. Well, yeah, Mama, I went to this party. Party? Boy, I told you don't go to a party. I told you what you... Shut up. All right, all my parents, touch yourself and say, shut up. Hit yourself, just say, shut up. Parents, I need you to hush. Sometimes you just talk too much. Shut up. Listen. Your child is trying to tell you that there's some boy that's on the bus that's acting weird and they don't know what to do. And you so busy talking about whatever it is you're talking about that you miss the fact that there's a boy that's acting. Then when he shoots somebody, and you say, well, why didn't they tell me? Why don't you shut up when they were trying to tell you? So parents, I need you to know that one day is the time we have an opportunity to listen. Please use that. Y'all with me? The second thing on that day off is that, well, okay, there needs to be a set bedtime. Not when they pass out. Say, well, what time? Because I talk to the children. I ask, what time did you go to bed? And like, that's right. Thank you, sir. She said, whatever. What time is that? What time is whatever? It's whatever. I have actually parents going to bed. They step over their children to go to bed. Y'all with me? Now hear me on this. There's a lot of stuff that's on TV. There's a lot of stuff that they can access on their phones. There's a lot on laptops, etc., that they shouldn't be involved in. And you need to monitor that. Y'all with me? Now everybody know here how to monitor what's going on the computer. Now you think you do. Yeah, this generation here, they can figure out all kinds of stuff. They can go to some websites that you didn't. Where'd you get that one from? Oh yeah, but every now and then, just when you hear them on the computer or on the phone, just walk in and do this. Find out what's going on. What are they watching? You need to know. Just trying to because they're going to try their best not to let you know. But I was telling some parents, and I'm going to deal with this in the next session when we do the. And I don't know what Mr. Muhammad is going to do. But what I learned about young people and this set bedtime is that there is a certain time that a certain number of hours that our children need to get to grow healthy. Now, I know everybody talking about 8 hours of sleep. Listen, 8 hours of sleep is designed for adults. Y'all with me? 8 hours of sleep is designed for us. When they are at certain ages they are developing, they need at least 10 hours of sleep. You with me? And if they're not getting it, then you're producing a problem in the school. Why? Because they're in your classroom, they're in the classroom and they're doing this. So I'm trying to get us as parents to understand the role that we must play in getting our children healthy for class and learning. Okay, let's go. Now this one is a good one for me. Every now and then, parents, you just need to show up. You don't need, your child is at this school. The principal just left out. I'm going to make sure. Your child is at this school. You don't have to have permission to come up here. I'll clean that up in a minute. Let me show you. So I'm about to say, we don't want you to come up here to whoop nobody. No, we ain't whooping nobody. Because I know some parents come in, show me her room number. I'm going to whoop somebody up in. No, don't come here to whoop nobody. Everything ought to be done decent and in order. But you ought to come up to your school. No parent should not visit their child's school at least 3 times a year. And I'm not talking about open house. At least 3 times a year, you ought to visit the school. And don't tell your child you coming. No. Just show up. And here's decent and order. You go to the principal's office and you say, I'm here. I'm Zaires' parent. Would very much like to see him in class. Don't want nothing. Just want to go see him in class. Principal, they may call the principal in, and he may, well, you have to have an appointment. No, I don't. My child is up in here. I need to do. I'm not going to be disruptive. You can go up here with me if you want to. I want to see my child. That's all. Now, here's what I need you to do. Once you get through the maze of the office, just walk up to the school, up to the classroom. Open the door. Find your child with your eyes. Then do this. And then close the door. And go on back home. You will be surprised how long that will last in that child's head. Forever. He gonna go, Mama, what you? My mama just can't even get it out. Mama, what you doing up here? I just came up here. That's all. Just came up here. But you just sent your child a message. You'll never know when I'm gonna show up. Not just at school, by the way. Wherever we have 3 daughters. Wherever my children are, I have a right to show up. Oh, yes, ask them. Show up at Howard University. Oh, showed up at Spelman, kicking the door in. What's up? Let me see another pair of shoes in here that ain't your shoes. Oh, I'll turn this room out. They know that their dad will show up. So let me help you. Your child says, I'm going to play basketball down with the boys. Every now and then, go down to the court. Now, hold on. Don't embarrass him. Don't get over the throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. Let me play. No, ain't nobody throwing you the ball. Go somewhere and sit down. What I need you to do is just show up. See what's going on down on the ball at the court. What will anger him now will make him feel better later on. Because he knows that his mother loves him enough to show up. And it gives you something to talk about, if need be, when they get home. Oh, I saw 2 or 3 of the guys look like they were packing over there. Everything straight down there? Then, Mom, what you know about packing? I ain't crazy. I might be old. I ain't stupid. So we need to make sure that our children know that we're on top of stuff. And the way that you do that is to make sure that you go up to the school. Know who the principal is. When I look at your phone, every phone in here ought to have your child's school on speed dial. Not because he or she is in trouble, because it's about, my child ain't never in no trouble. Yeah, it's not about trouble. It's about you should know what's going on in the school. Just call up and ask the secretary, is there anything going on I need to know about? That's engagement with your child, knowing what's going on. Let me roll. Number 7. Now, this is one I started talking about a few moments ago. Increase your child's vocabulary by forcing conversation. We have allowed our children to speak in one-word sentences way too long. Where you going? Now? I'm sorry. Where you going? Down now? When you come back? In a minute. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Peace out.
It was good.
So, yeah, it was good. How was school today? Good. Well, what happened? Everything. And then you wonder why she or he fails the test. They don't have a vocabulary to express themselves. So you got to sit down and say, no, we're not having that today. We're going to have a complete sentence and a complete conversation. So I want you to start out with mother. Today was a very good day at school. He's like, look at you like you're crazy. That's right. That's right. That's right. You want to eat tonight? You need to have a conversation with your child. They're not going to want to talk it out. They're accustomed to hanging with their people and giving one-word sentences. So what we have to do is say one-word sentences are not going to get you into college. In fact, it won't even get you into career opportunities, whether or not you go to college. Imagine you going to your job and your child walking up, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Know what I'm talking about? No, yeah, that's what I'm saying is, but yeah, man, because I was trying to figure out everything. And then they end up with, know what I'm talking about? My response is, I don't have a clue what you just said. And I will not accept that. Now, you want to talk to me, we can talk. Because I know that verbal communication and that written communication will take him or her to a number of places, that foolishness. I don't have a problem. I don't expect a child to go to a basketball game and say, oh, gee, they are dribbling the ball. As they dribbled the ball down the court, he just stopped and he passed the ball to a member of his team. I don't expect that. I expect them to say, poof, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. I expect that. But then I expect you to do a cultural change, if necessary, to say, well, I can write, if I need to, what just happened on the court. Or I can articulate what just happened on the court. So I need you to make sure that she or he is always able to articulate that which is on the inside of them. There's nothing worse than having a child that say, you know what I'm talking, what? No, I don't know. And this is your opportunity to tell me. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, please, push them to speak in complete sentences. So now let's roll. Create a partnership with the school, not a dictatorship. That's my child, I tell you what to do. No, we're not running it like that. At the school, we want to have a partnership. Your child has an opportunity here. We want you to make sure that you all working together. Then let me go to number 8. number 9 real quick. Stop screaming. It's not doing anything but killing yourself. Stop screaming. Y'all with me? And I know there's some screamers in here. I see a couple of screamers, right? Yeah, I know. I look at you and tell you a screamer. Yeah, you. And there's some folks who's about. I ain't no screamer. I'm a whooper. I'll whoop everything in the house. I'll whoop the walls if I need to. That is not getting it done. It's not getting it done. So stop screaming and stop whooping. Not totally. Sometimes you do have to raise your voice a little bit, but that's not the first choice. Y'all with me? All right. And then the last one. All right, last one. Never expect or accept excuses. Never. I don't expect them. I will not accept them. Do you know there's nothing worse than an old person, and especially a male, who is at 39 still making excuses? Still making excuses. Well, I was going to go get a job, but then it rained. And then when it rained, and the sun came out, it was hot. Really? And then I ain't had no bus money. So I was trying to figure out how to get downtown. Next thing I know, it was 6 o'clock. Now downtown closed. So what you gonna do tomorrow? Same thing. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. I heard the weatherman say it's gonna rain tomorrow. At what point do you accept responsibility for what's happening in your life? So, my desire today is to leave you with these little simple 10 for today. I don't know, but we have scheduled something to work with you at 1 o'clock. And if that's still going to go on, you're certainly welcome to come back at 1 o'clock. If it's not going to happen, you'll get information as to how and what we're going to do next. But the most important part about, and this is where I'm going to start, where am I on time? Oh, I'm way past time. This is what I want to start with when we get here. Who's the adult in your house? I know somebody, I'm the adult. I'm the adult. Yes, that's what you say. We're going to talk, that's where we'll start. Who's the adult in the house? If you have any questions, I'll be more than willing to answer them. But if not, I think it's lunchtime now. And please feel free to go to lunch. And there are a series of workshops that are going to occur at 1 o'clock. You're welcome to go to all of them. But I really expect to see all y'all back here at 1 o'clock. Okay? Thank you so much for making this a wonderful day for me.
Thank you.
I want to see my notes.
I did like this.